So next month, if you didn't know, Persona 5 Royal comes out. I know a lot of people were probably looking forward to this game because this is a pretty popular series. And if you don't know what's going on here, basically this is a definitive version of Persona 5. And they do a lot of work to these games. They add a lot of stuff in. They make them pretty much new experiences for people to come in and play the game again. If you waited to play the game, this is the definitive. Well, it would have been the definitive version of the game. I was actually going to pick this up. I picked up a PlayStation 4 just to play Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I was going to check this game out. I was like, well, I'll finally play this. I don't think I'll be doing that now. I think I'll be picking up the cheaper version. The original version is about $20 new. So you could probably find it for like $10 used if you really wanted to be cheap. And that's the version I'll be playing. In fact, I bet you it's going to go up in value because they're bending the knee to the outrage mob for this game. So if you don't know, there's a web forum that I've made fun of a few times called ResetEra. And they actually have quite a bit of power for some reason. Game developers will bend the knee to them, and it looks like they're getting Japanese developers to bend the knee to them. So Atlus, the creator of this game, has announced that they will be making changes to localization of the game. If you don't know what that is, that means they're going to bring this game's in Japanese voices, Japanese text. Localization people will bring it over here and they'll change it. They'll dub the voices, so they get voice actors to come in, change the voices to English. And of course, they'll change the text as well to English. So they're going to take things and purposely mistranslate them because ResetEra had a problem with it. So here's one of many threads where they whined about this game. Now, the difference is what they call phobic really isn't the case. There's a small comedy bit. I watched the scene, and it's where this couple kind of starts going after and bothering a character in the game named Ryuji. So they follow him around and tell him, it's like a comedic take and like talking about wanting to bring him into the mix and stuff. Seemed pretty harmless to me. But of course, they whined and cried about it, went on a huge Twitter campaign, smeared developers. I'm pretty sure they were doing a lot of other nasty stuff to them. And because of that, it looks like it's going to be a successful campaign because Atlus has announced, like I said, that they're going to make changes. And those are detailed in this article. Persona 5 Royal will be worthwhile even for returning players. So this article goes over a lot of the new stuff that you can expect from the game. And, they do make a lot of changes and they put a lot of work in. But where I'm lost is the fact that we're going to get censorship here. So stuff that, is going to be said in Japanese, they're going to purposely change it to something that would translate here. It's not a weird thing that's part of Japanese culture, which, by the way, this game doesn't care. They just they show you a lot of Japanese culture that you wouldn't get here. It's actually kind of interesting, like playing the Yakuza games. But they're going to make changes. So what they say is going to be purposely censored and made into a baby version because a bunch of clowns over on ResetEra don't like it. So let me read you this part of the article here, and you can see what I'm talking about. So another round of localization. From speaking with senior project manager Yu Namba, who has played a major part of the series localization dating back to Persona 2, Eternal Punishment, there'll be some changes to existing lines of dialogue in P5R. Specifically, we talked about the male-male couple that would harass Ryuji at certain parts of the original game. They were portrayed as more predatory, as Namba put it. When I asked him about those scenes, he stated, "I think the community had a very strong response to that, and you saw that, and that was definitely altered for Royal." So, the community? No. ResetEra? Yes. A bunch of clowns on Twitter were mad. That's where this is from. So, ResetEra and some clowns on Twitter. Most normal players of the game didn't care. But because, a handful of people on Twitter whined about it, and a bunch of clowns on ResetEra whined about it, we get a different version of the game, which is ridiculous. So anyway, let's continue on. As for how those characters and lines have changed, Namba simply said, "We made it as if they're being very strong enthusiasts for something they like doing, but it's not like they were on the hunt for some youngins or anything. It's clear that, like the fan base, those who worked on Persona 5's localization felt some type of way about it too, Namba told me. Our team members felt a little bit of awkwardness about when working on it. With regards to those moments to the original release, he said it was no easy task to get the green light to make changes, he concluded. We're pretty happy with what it is. It's not a significant change, but I think there's enough of a change that people who weren't comfortable going through that part in Persona 5 would feel better this time around. Outside of those scenes, Namba said that the team and voice cast went over a few existing lines from the original game in addition to delivering all new Royal-specific content. While there have been gripes about the pronunciation of some names in the original game, Namba did say that the general pronunciation guidelines were kept, though they tried to make things more consistent across the game. So, a few existing lines or changes. I don't even know what that is. You know, they don't even really go into details on that. So I wonder, are other things people whined about getting changes? And maybe they're going to hope you don't notice. It's going to be interesting because you know what's going to happen? People are definitely 100% going to go through this game with a fine-tooth comb. And they are going to find all the changes and give us correct translations. So we'll find out just how much they change. Because they're not going to go into full details on that. They probably wanted to get away from this subject as quickly as possible. So, I wonder what else has changed. I mean, they talk about, they made other changes. What else could it be? They made this big change. Something that was a joke. Really wasn't even that bad. I went and watched the clips over on YouTube because, of course, they're there. And it really didn't seem like it was that big of a deal. But, of course, ResetEra and a bunch of clowns on Twitter are upset about it. So, naturally, we need to censor the game for everybody. For the normal person who doesn't give a crap. They need to have a censored version of the game. So, this is really sad to see. I hate when this happens. I really do. I would like the game as it was. I don't need changes. And most people don't care about this. It's really sad that just a bunch of clowns get to shape how video games are brought over here. So, knowing all of this, here's a question for you. Are you still going to buy the game? I'd like to know, because I'm pretty sure I've got fans of this game somewhere in my channel. And I'd like to know, are you still going to buy this game? Has this changed your mind? Are you against this kind of censorship? I'm not buying it. In fact, I'm going to go buy the $20 version and just play that one. I was going to wait to play Royal. Not now. I'm not buying this game. I'm not going to reward this trash. I'll just play Persona 5. It's cheaper anyway. So I'll just play that. No big deal to me. And then I don't have to worry about this because that was made before Crybabies whined about it. And we'll get the original version. That's still there. It's so stupid. But whatever. You lost my money. I'm going to buy it used too. I'm going to buy a used copy just to make sure you don't get any of my money. Anyway, that is it, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this. Are you still buying the game or not? Are you mad? Are you upset? Let me know in the comments. Also, throw a like up if you would. These are very important things for the channel. Videos thrive on comments and likes, so please consider leaving some. Also, share the video. Hit that notification bell. Make sure you're still subscribed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that and subscribe if you're new.